First, we have what is an argumentative essay. An argumentative essay is a writing piece meant to persuade someone to think the way you do. And look at the example. Martil is a teenager whose parents have set a curfew for her, but she wants to stay out longer. She thinks that she might be able to convince her parents to extend her curfew if she makes a sound argument. To make her case, she's decided to write them a letter. Usually organized as an essay, Martil's letter to her parents is also a type of argumentative writing. To help Martil write her essay, let's take a closer look at the elements and format of an argumentative essay. Next, element of argumentative essay. There are three elements of argumentative essay: position, reason, and evidence. Okay, back to the topic with Sam's example. Martil wants to convince her parents to give her a later curfew, and she's going to write an argumentative essay to do that. But where does she even start? What information does she need to include in her essay? There are some specific elements that are needed in an argumentative essay. The first and most important element is a persuasive essay is the position, or what side the author is on. For example, Martil's position is that her curfew should be later. The position is not all that Martil needs to include in her essay. In fact, if all she does is state her position, it won't be very convincing. All her letter would say is, "I think you should let me stay out later." Her parents would just shrug and say, "We disagree." In order to convince her parents, then Martil also needs to include reason, or why the author believes the way he or she does. For example, Martil could support her position by offering reasons like the fact that she's responsible, she's older than she used to be, and that a later curfew will allow her to study at the library for longer. By offering this reason, Martil has made her letter more convincing. She can take this even further, however, by supporting her reason with evidence or facts and data that support the reason. For example, remember that one of Martil's reasons is that a later curfew will allow her to study at the library for longer. She can support this reason with evidence. Maybe she has scientific articles that show that studying at the library is more effective than studying at home, or perhaps she has data showing that kids with later curfews spend more time in the library. Both of those pieces of evidence could support her reason.
Okay, here I will explain to the next point, namely the purpose of the argumentative essay. So, this essay aims to convince the reader to accept the author's ideas, views, attitudes, or beliefs on an issue or problem. An argumentative essay will try to reveal the truth of an idea with a motive so that later the reader will eventually side with the author and do something based on the opinions contained in the essay.
Okay, I will explain about argumentative writing. In argumentative writing, you are directly asked to take a position on an issue or a topic and explain and support your position with research from reliable and credible sources.
What are the characteristics of an argumentative paper? The first, the argument you are making should be clearly stated within your thesis statement. Second, you should have several reasons or points of discussion that help you to support your argument. You will explain and support these reasons and points of discussion within the body paragraphs of your paper. And last, as with all academic writing, you will need to cite any information that you use from a source within your paper.
Okay, let's look at this essay. The first thing that I want to tell you is that essay have a title that represents the purpose of the essay. You should have a very specific title that represents your thesis statement. For example, here my thesis statement is about getting rid of the plastic cups. So, I say, one way is to stop making plastic cups available to the students. And look at the title. It says, "Where are all the cups?" So, where are all the cups is kind of associated with the idea that we need to get rid of the plastic cups. Certainly, there has to be a good title. There should be an introduction with background information and thesis statement. Here, I've underlined a thesis statement, so look at the background. The environmental issues in today's world are growing more serious by the day. As a result, it is increasingly important for the schools and colleges to teach good environmental habits. Have you ever seen a student or teacher take a sip of water and then throw the plastic cup away? This is not a good habit. Here at Fujairah Women's College, and I think we must start taking action to lessen our impacts on the environment. And look at the thesis statement that I underlined. One way is to stop making plastic cups available to the students. So here, remember what we talked about in previous? Our thesis statement, we need to be asking someone to take an action. That's what an argumentative essay is. And here the action is we want to the college to stop making plastic cups available. So that's an action we want the college to take.
Now, we got the topic sentence number 1, which is the first reason why the thesis is true. We have the topic sentence that one main reason is that using plastic cups is bad for environment. Then, we support each topic sentence with 2 main ideas. In other words, 2 reasons why the topic sentences is true. So we can say one main reason is that using plastic cups is bad for environment. First reason is making cups creates dangerous greenhouse gases. So we move on. Secondly, in other words, the second reason why cups are bad for environment. Secondly, as we can see, the cups are often not placed in the bin and they end up blown into the ocean, and this is the serious problem because as the plastic slowly breaks down into small particles, it makes its way into the piece. If the piece have too much plastic in them, they will shortly die. So, first reason, dangerous greenhouse gases, and the second reason, the piece will die because the plastic are actually blown into the ocean. All these 212 they support the idea that using plastic cups is bad for environment.
Paragraph 3. It is also clear that getting rid of the plastic cups will be good for the college, which stated earlier. The cups are not thrown in the bin properly, and this creates the negative impression for the people who visit the college. For example, if you look in the empty classrooms in the late afternoon, the cups are scattered around the college on the floors, desks, and hallways. This does not give the college a good image with the public, who often come to the college in the evening for classes. Secondly, not having cups available will save money for the college. Simply put, the college will not have to buy the thousands of cups used each semester. This one can be used to buy books for the library or used to go some field trips instead. So in this paragraph, the main idea is it is also clear that getting rid of the plastic cups will be good for the college. And then supporting sentence is, for example, if you look in the empty classrooms in the late afternoon, the cups are scattered around the college on the floors, desks, and hallways. And then the last is concluding sentence. The concluding sentence is simply put, the college will not have to buy the thousands of cups used each semester. This one can be used to buy books for the library or used to go on some field trips instead.
Invitation is a very different. It is not like paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. At this paragraph goes against what other people say against you. For example, let's look at topic sentence. Many might argue that it is unfair to get rid of the cups. After all, people need to drink water, right? And authors say something nice like, I understand this point of views, and then quickly author countered the argument by saying, however, instead of using the cups, the student can bring in their own water bottles, which costs very little. The inconvenience of the water bottles for outweighs is designed to argue against the fact that many people think it is unfair. And he tried to say, I understand, and the keyword is however. In this paragraph, author proposed to counter to go against what other people say. Next, we have conclusion. In the conclusion, it is very important that we state our thesis, but in the different way. We can look. Finally, it is clear the Cubs mascot at Fujairah Women's College.